What's up, my Facebook peeps? It's Wednesday, right? I don't know about y'all, but my days definitely run together. The one thing that is keeping me super motivated is Friday is our 10-year anniversary. Still kind of undecided what we're doing. I think we're going to maybe just do like a mountain bike ride, or maybe go to an Airbnb or something. But anyway, it's 10 years, you guys. 10 years is like freaking worth celebrating, because it's just worth celebrating. Anyway, I wanted to jump on here live to talk about something that I heard the other day. But literally, while I was sitting here, like kind of preparing my notes and doing a little bit of work, a red cardinal flew into my backyard. And I don't know, like, I really have never paid a lot of attention to birds. My dad, however, he was a game warden, and he was a huge just bird fan. And I remember thinking it was like so dorky. And like my mom and him, anytime we traveled, God, these glasses are kind of getting on my nerves with the light. Anyway, I'll do like this. Anytime we traveled, my mom and him would like spot a bird, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, what was that? Did you see that blue jay?" And I was like, it's like, but as I've gotten older, I've really like learned to appreciate birds. But I will say, through this coronavirus, quarantine, all this, it has forced me to just slow down and to just stop and to relax and to sit. I never really did that before. I always wanted to. I got this awesome back porch furniture that was donated to us through the Organizer Chicks and Lowe's, and for this thing we did a couple years ago. I rarely ever like sat in my backyard, but I always wanted to. And recently I've done it at least every afternoon or every morning, drinking my coffee, watching my kids play. And through this like whole thing, the last, like, I'd say 2 weeks, maybe even more, there's a red cardinal that comes in our backyard every day, every single day, different times and at different places. And it's not there very long. In fact, almost in enough time for me to like get a picture of it, it's gone. And when I looked up, like, what's a red cardinal mean? It's really pretty crazy. So first of all, some people believe that red cardinals are a sign from heaven. They could be a sign of an angel, somebody like a person from heaven coming to visit you. I actually just looked up online, and it said red cardinals, they connect the bird to living faith. They remind us that those circumstances might look bleak, dark, and despairing, there's always hope. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Hey, Kareth. So yeah, it's really like literally every day. And sometimes we get a red cardinal male and then like a brownish cardinal female together. And my daughters say that that's the red cardinal by itself is my dad. And then the red cardinal and the female, the girl and the boy, is my husband's mom and dad. And they're coming to visit us. So it's kind of special. That's actually not why I wanted to go live today. But if anybody has any like advice on red cardinals, like, send them my way, because I want to know, like, what have you heard about these red cardinals? Because it's literally every day. And I don't know if it's been there and I just have never taken the time to just sit and notice it, but it's kind of cool. Anyway, I did want to jump on here. I've been really trying to make time every single day to listen to a podcast, read a book, do something. And on top of that, 3-4 times a week, I get out of the house and do some kind of a, personal development. One of my favorites right now is the Brene Brown. It's a new podcast. I listen to it on Spotify, and I think it's Unlocking Us, I think is what it's called. And she's wanted to do a podcast for a long time, but like now with like, she's doing it through, all this quarantine. And so she's really speaking a lot of truth and interviewing some amazing people, and so relevant to right now. But I was listening to one called Comparative Suffering and the 50-50 Myth. Holy crap. So first of all, go listen to this. But I started implementing it with my family and my kids, and it's just been really awesome. I wanted to just share it with you in case that it might be something that could benefit your family as well. So basically the 50-50 rule is that there isn't. It doesn't exist. Like, you think about a relationship and you're like, I'll give 50 and then he gives 50 and we meet. Well, that's just like it's a myth. Like it's a myth that you think that it's always going to be equal. And that using like that percentage of, each person can bring 100% to the table, but there's no way that each person has 100% all the time. And the beauty in a relationship, whether, it's a spouse, a significant other, and especially during this time, if you are quarantined with somebody, is to really communicate where you are at. And in times of like hardship and strife, there might be times where I'm only at a 20 and Mitch, my husband, will step up and, he's able to give, let's say 80, and together we can meet 100 as a relationship. I don't know if that makes sense. It really made sense to me, because she's really talked about how there are times where like she is just on fire and she's just like really knocking it out of the park, but her husband might be having some struggles, and together they can really just have this great uniform relationship. And it takes that communication. However, where sometimes the struggle comes in is, let's say I'm bringing only 20% to the table. I'm tired. I've got a lot on my plate with work. Homeschooling was hard. Let's say Mitch only has 20% right now. He's been working hard. He's got a lot to give. All right. So that means we got 40% between the two of us. Where are we going to make up that extra 60%? So being able to talk to each other and say, okay, this is where I'm at, where are you at? And so, I need to step up, or, what can we do to give 100% to our relationship? And it really helped me also in the family and with being under one roof, and giving this kind of language to our kids as well. So at the dinner table is when we usually are all sitting together. And my girls have a 8-year-old and a 6-year-old, almost 9 and 7. And then of course my toddler, which he's always 100%, I think, or I don't know. He's just crazy. So, but giving them some language on, where are you at today? How do you feel like your day was on a scale of 0 to 100%, and letting them be able to communicate, like, I'm feeling right now about 50%, or I'm kind of tired, or whatever. And giving them some words to really, describe how are they feeling. And then putting some rules in place that, we need to have a check-in, and are these things getting accomplished? Are we doing what we need to fill our own cup and for self-care, so that we can bring as much of ourselves to the family and to the table, you might say. So some things that like we started learning on, if you're feeling low, some things to check in. One is, are you getting enough sleep? And I think giving this kind of vocabulary and this information to our kids now is really important, because they're going to learn like, hey, I'm feeling this way, but it's on me to like do a self check-in. Am I taking care of myself in order to be able to give to others first? Like, take care of yourself first to be able to give to others next. So sleep is a really big one. Are you getting enough sleep? That's something we talk about with our girls all the time, because they want to stay up late. How's your sleep? Alone time. Do you need alone time? And being okay with them needing that, and giving a safe place for that. I know growing up with like tons and tons of, I say tons of sisters. I had 5 sisters. Life was just really crazy and chaotic in our house, and we didn't really have a safe place to go to be alone. And that's something that still is really hard for me. I feel guilt of that. Like, why should I want to be alone? I have my whole family. But for many of us, I say all of us at certain times, I mean, I'm a very extroverted person, but I need that quiet, that stillness. And I'm able to get up really early in the morning and take that time for myself, but my kids might not have that. And so them being okay with saying, hey, I just really want some alone time right now. I just go in my room, read a book, something like that. So alone time is a big one. We look at sugar consumption, and this is something I talk to my girls about all the time. I am not everything is off limits if it's not healthy. You would think being that I'm healthy and in the nutrition field, like, no, like I let my kids have certain things. So I don't want them to totally rebel and just, feel deprived or whatever. But we talk about, what does sugar do to our mood and to our immunity? And we allow one special treat a day. So for instance, yesterday I had to run some errands. We hit up Sonic Happy Hour. They got the mini kids slushie. It's got a lot of things that I don't love about it, but that was their dessert. That was their treat for the day. So after dinner, they're not getting ice cream because we already talked about you had a slush. Like that's your treat. And so they get to pick what's their special thing. But what we talk about, could you have had too much sugar? Does that, how that can affect our mood? Vegetables are big in our house. And what we do is we have our kids eat veggies first. So we put their vegetables down on their plate, and that's what they get served first with lunch and dinner. And so we also talk about like, man, you guys, like we were out and about or we had school lunch or whatever, didn't have any vegetables today. So for dinner, we're going to make sure we get our vegetables because we got to keep ourselves healthy. Water, always talking about water too, what color was your pee? I know that sounds so weird to a lot of people, but that's a good indication on, did you get enough water? And so even my kids will be like, Mom, I got to drink some more water. Like they know. And we talk about that. They say, I have like a headache. I'll say, how much water have you been consuming? How much water did you drink? I don't say consuming, but how much water did you drink today? And they're like, I haven't really had any. I'm like, go get a big glass of water. So they start like, it just blows my mind. And I, for a long time, didn't realize the correlation between what we eat or not eat and the way that it can make us feel. So we're already giving our kids this language and these tools to help them take better care of themselves. Last but not least, move your body. Did you move your body today? This can look like exercise. It can look like going for a walk, riding a bike. Did you jump on the trampoline? Did you get outside? Moving your body. You guys, we do not like, I know when I say exercise is my therapy, a lot of you think, okay, whatever, that's crazy. I used to be that person. Like, I think like you're a liar. Exercise is not therapy. Exercise is torture. I used to think that way. But the release of anxiety and stress and emotions that can come, like you guys have seen videos where I just break down in the middle of my workout or at the end of my workout. I'm getting teary-eyed sometimes thinking about it. Like just that release is so good. And it's not just like good for us, it's good for our kids too. It's good for our family. So I just encourage you to listen to that podcast. Again, if you were new, it's Brene Brown. It's called Comparative Suffering and the 50-50 Myth. And start thinking about how you could implement this in your relationship, whether that's with a spouse, your children, whoever. It really gave us some good tools to give our children and to really help our family out during this time. This is a really hard time for a lot of people, but I know for me, it helps always to focus on what I can control, because there's so much that I can't. What can I control? What can I bring to the table? And then what blessings are, what am I learning in this? And for me right now, like it's been like smack in the face, like the last few days of I'm sitting, like I'm being still. I'm enjoying my kids. I'm just, I don't know. It's something that I've always wanted, but didn't think I could have because I was so busy and I had to work and I had to do all the things that made me a good mom. And that's so not the case. It's so not the case. What makes me a good mom is being full and being healthy myself so that I can show up as the best to my children. And so I just encourage you to fill your own cup first, take care of yourself, use the words, it's okay to not be okay, and communicate that with your partner, because we're not mind readers and they aren't either. And so it's just going to make everybody happier. All right, you guys, I hope you have a great rest of the day. Always good to see you on here.